welcome back.
Happy New Year, kids.
It's been a minute. It's been a month, I think.
Maybe.
I think the last day that we recorded was maybe the 17th of last month, and it's the 17th of this month.
Perhaps. It's cold.
It's chilly, yeah. It's not as cold as... Actually, this is... Podcasting is an audio medium, except when it's visual, but I have a picture that I took on a very cold night in New York City. Of
Rockefeller?
Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
What I don't understand exactly is that sometimes the lights twinkle and sometimes they don't.
What's the other big park with a big ass tree?
In New York?
Yeah, not Washington. I know Washington's a bigger park, but there's another one with a huge tree and like a little it's not far from there, and they have a bunch of like kind of wood. It looks like a farmer's market, except some of the tents are like established, like some are like wood kind of. And there's like jewelry and hot cocoa, and there's another giant fucking tree.
That's a good question. I did not see that the whole.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. I've been there a couple times. If you guys haven't been in New York in the Christmas spirit time, it really is. At least for me, I have heard there's cities in Europe that do it just as big or bigger, but in America, they crush it. If you want the vibes and the Christmas spirit like Elf, it's fucking rocking over there.
Yeah, London's supposed to be like to do a lot of light installations. And stuff like that.
I had a list going on like my Twitter or something, like 10 best Christmas cities. It's like random one in Sweden and a random one over here, and a couple in Germany.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I imagine so. Yeah,
and probably real pretty. But New York, in terms of
Sinterklaas.
Yeah, I mean most big cities do it here honestly better than you would think. Like even Vegas does it okay. Like there's a lot of decorations that go up in our mall. Cleveland downtown looks.
Oh
my.
Cleveland downtown looks cool because they have like I think there's a Christmas Story for sure, but there's another movie that's very famous that was filmed in Cleveland.
Interesting.
I forgot. And so they go crazy downtown, like their mall and their hotels all go nutty. But New York gives you the magic spirit for sure.
Yeah, this was taken on January 4th, so a little bit after Christmas, but the Christmas crowds were definitely still around.
Sure, because the New Year crowd.
Yeah, there was a ton of people still in town. It dwindled during the week that we were there, but I actually did a little bit of math and figured out in the last 7 months I've spent basically a month in New York City between a couple of different trips, family trips, and just trips on our own.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool city.
It was very cold this time.
Supposedly, when we get that rocket ship going, I think you go L.A. to New York in 25 minutes.
The Jeff Bezos one? Which one?
No, I think it's the Elon.
Oh, the Elon.
Yeah, when he goes commercial. I don't know. I think you literally just go straight up and straight down.
Gonna blow us up.
Yeah, like half into the outer space. I mean, 25 minutes. I read something they were trying to go a train from New York to London too.
That'll be fire.
Underground. Okay, so here's the thing. They're
trying to go bullet train, and it would be like a 3-4 hour banger.
That's going to take a long time to build, though. I would think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not digging
the Channel Tunnel, which is between England and the mainland, took a long time to bore.
Yeah. I mean, we got to advance somewhere, right? We got to move faster somewhere somehow.
Yeah. No, sure, and we need to figure out how to not fly everywhere.
Yeah.
The economics of airlines are just very dicey.
Yeah, every plane's goddamn blowing up. We had like 4 planes. The week I flew, I don't know if I was going to Florida or to Vegas, but one of the weeks there's like 3 fucking planes blowing up.
Yeah, there was actually a plane incident right after we arrived in Halifax.
Yeah.
At that airport.
Yeah, I read that. And then same thing, the day after I landed in Fort Lauderdale or Miami, the same airline I took, they found like a dead body in a plane in that airport in landing gear. There's like 2 dead bodies.
Oh,
like, what the
oh my God.
What the fuck is going on?
I mean, I wasn't monitoring the news that closely, but I vaguely remember having seen something about that.
Yeah, there was that. The Gonzaga basketball team almost collided as they're taking off.
Yeah.
And then 2 other I don't know if they were Boeing or not, but 2 other planes exploded that week. Yeah, Halifax and one other.
Yeah, Halifax, I think they had to do a belly landing because the landing
sketchy.
gear was busted. I just was listening to this podcast about this thing that happened. I think it had happened in the 70s or early 80s. It was a plane crash in on Tenerife, the island Tenerife. These planes were supposed to be landing on one of the other islands that had a full-size airport, and there was like political unrest that caused radicals to plant a bomb in the terminal.
Yikes.
And when they gave there's a bomb, like warning thing, they said they didn't say bomb, they said bombs. And so one went off, and they were assuming that there were more. So they shut the airport down, and these big 747s could not land there for fear that the whole thing is going to blow up. So they land on this other small island, and tiny runway, like one runway with like offshoots.
Yeah, weeds and fucking grass everywhere.
It was long enough ago that it was Pan Am, which doesn't exist anymore, and then KLM, which does. It's like the Dutch national airline. And the Dutch have this like thing about if the crews can only work so many hours, and if you're the pilot and you're responsible and it goes over hours, you could end up actually losing your job and your pilot's license and the whole 9 yards. So pilot very much under stress, whatever. And long story short, there's a miscommunication on the air traffic control channels. There's two planes on the same channel, and the KLM pilot mishears. He is so worried about getting back that he's had the plane fueled up, so he's got like 16,000 gallons of jet fuel.
Yeah.
And he thinks that the Pan Am jet is off the runway, but it's not.
Yikes.
And takes off, and they crash into each other on the ground.
Oh.
Everybody in the KLM dies, and a lot of people in the Pan Am die because it's a communication thing. They actually changed the vocabulary for air traffic control and between pilots because of that.
Yeah.
They don't say takeoff anymore. You notice I always say departure?
Sure.
Departure means you're really leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to make it more clear.
Yeah.
Crazy. You got to learn somehow.
Yeah, crazy. I don't want to have any issues flying. I will say that on the way there, on the way to, because we went to Halifax for 9 days and then went to New York for a week. If our flights had not been, if our connecting flights had not been somewhat delayed each time, we wouldn't have made it. This is my last time booking anything on Google Flights. It doesn't give you enough time to go from
2 different airlines. Is that why?
No.
Same airline.
It was United all the way to it was 2 different airlines, but it was United all the way to Montreal. And it was one of the sublines of Air Canada from Montreal to Halifax.
Yeah, because I know each airline's obviously like so locked in to perfectly time, and they'll never book you. But if you switch airlines, you can get fucked.
Yeah, and often they're like interlined or whatever, so that there's supposed to be coordination between them. But and you couldn't even check in for my flight because when it went from, because I actually booked all this on Air Canada, it screwed my name up, so I couldn't.
Yeah, they make all that so difficult.
Yeah, with a passport and all that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they won't let you change it. They won't let you change it over the phone. They won't get you in there.
Yeah, they took my first name and my middle name and made one name out of that, and then they made my last name and the suffix one name as well, and it just didn't work. It was fine once we got to the airport, but oh my god, I put a little poll on my Instagram last week asking about whether people would rather get to the airport way too early or almost too late. And it was like 90-10 way too early. And I totally identify with that. That's me for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the commonplace. I think it depends how much you fly and then what airport. Because if I'm flying the airport I know, then I'm definitely a on the edge guy. Because I just know. You know, like I know Sacramento's Southwest and fucking Vegas is Southwest so well that I just have no issues. But yeah, if you're going to New York and you got traffic on the ground and in the airport, unpredictabilities, or big-ass airports. Big-ass airports you would think would move faster, but often they're more populated and have more issues.
Yeah, it depends. It really depends.
Yeah, like I flew into Fort Lauderdale versus Miami, and it was easy. It was so small. There's no.
It's like
people.
flying into Burbank versus LAX.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Miami might be smaller than LAX, but yeah, definitely something like that. It was so easy. Yeah, I don't love flying. That's for damn sure.
I don't mind it. It just always seems like nearly always. It seems like I'm on a super ass early flight, and I have to get there early because I can't. I can't sleep anyway, so I might as well go to the airport.
Well, you go coast to coast a lot.
Yeah,
and so you can't really. You either got a red eye or you got a 7 a.m. or
if you're going west to east for sure.
Yeah.
East to west.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left Miami at 8 a.m. and landed in Vegas at 10 a.m. Yeah, you're time traveling.
Yeah, we left New York at noon, and we got to Sacramento a little bit before 6.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then, oh my God. So this is just going to be a bitch session. I hope everybody's in. I hail a Lyft on the app, right? Guy shows up, and we get in the car, and he starts going, down I-5 toward downtown Sac, the way you would go, right? And Richards Boulevard, which is like 3 exits from here, is a sketchy area, right?
Yeah, it's got some weird pockets.
And so he turns off at Richards and then takes that first right by the McDonald's there and then goes behind that, and there's a section of street with no streetlights at all.
Yeah.
And homeless encampments everywhere. And there's guys out there walking in the road like the Walking Dead. And we're like, where are you going? And he's like, I have to follow where the app says. It's like, no, you don't. Like, not if it's, not if it's going to be dangerous. Like, if you were a single woman in a car at night, you would think you're going to get killed or raped or both.
I don't know why.
In some order.
All those apps have their own maps.
Well, here's the thing.
Because, Uber can't get to my house.
Oh, really?
Like, because they have to follow their app, they'll, always turn in, I don't want to say where, but they'll always, turn into some shit and get stuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like an office.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, just, look at the map. You see the roads don't connect. Why... I know Siri or whoever the fuck's talking to you is telling you to go here. And same thing with DoorDash and them. They use a different map than Google Maps. If I Google Map my shit, it works perfect. But they'll use, and even Apple apps or whatever. I think the two normal ones are great. But they have their own system and their shit's always wonky.
Well, what happened with this is the guy, he finally got us into Midtown and then took a weird way toward McKinley Park, which makes sense, right? But then ends up weaving through the neighborhood.
Yeah,
it took forever.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And he said, I have to use the app. So the only time I've ever given it 1 star is it's use your judgment and get us out of this stupid situation, you idiot. And he didn't. So I called out Lyft on Twitter. It's what the fuck? So they DM us with your information. So I give them all the information. And I said, so really my question here is, can the driver use a different route than what comes up on the app? And they said, we don't have the map built into the Lyft app. Most of our drivers use Google Maps or Waze.
Maybe it's Waze is fucked because I don't really use Waze.
And so they offered me $5 that I have to use in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they'll get you a block.
It's yeah.
You use Lyft mostly?
I have before, but leaving on this trip, I fucked up and I scheduled, instead of a pickup for 3:30 a.m., I scheduled one for 3:30 p.m. because we had an early flight out. And so I noticed that. It's oh my God, I'm not getting any notifications. And so I tried to get another Lyft and nothing was connecting. So I ended up going to Uber and found somebody, and we were 15, 20 minutes later than we intended to be. But we were still, like I said, get to the airport early, so I had plenty of room. Anyway, I looked up on Google Maps and Waze to see which way. And honest to God, Waze will take you that stupid way.
It must be Waze because Google Maps doesn't. Because I've had that same road that you're talking about and a different sketchy one on a ride home, and then DoorDash is the other one. They'll be fucking up. Like they'll be spinning circles, and you're like, dude, like, especially like downtown Sac is a grid. Like it ain't that hard.
No, it's
like
not.
everything's like 90 degrees, and you're taking some crazy ass shit. Like I do understand like L.A. or there's a billion freeways, but like. Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, you're not to dox you. Your street is not one of the major streets, but you're surrounded by major streets.
It's so easy. Yeah, downtown Sac's so easy. But it'll happen in Vegas. It'll happen at the hotels and shit I'm at. It'll happen at, like the hotel I ordered like a fucking protein shake in Florida, and chicks fucking doing loops for half an hour. Then my shit's melted. Like. It is like DoorDash is so convenient and normal now, but I feel like always when like that innovation happens and it's awesome, and then like with any business, company, service, whatever, then they're not exactly a monopoly, but there's like 3 companies, and then they can like just slack on their service because now you have to use them. Yeah, and like that's like the old fucking white guy argument about taxis. Like, and taxis were cool because you'd get in and say, take me to movie theater on the north side, and that fool knew the city like it was back of his hand. He'd take you to a movie theater on the north side, or you'd hop in and they're like a tour guide, like, hey man, what's the best Italian in the area? Yeah. Dude, drop you off at the best Italian in the area. Like, you don't have that no more. You gotta use 3 apps, and then your fucking Uber's getting you lost.
Yeah, I mean, there's have been studies done that like the London cabbies have used more of their brain than basically anybody else because they keep the whole map in their heads.
Yeah, 100%.
I've never taken a cab in London, but it's a thought. But they're almost like with the restaurants and stuff like they're almost like a rolling concierge, right?
Yeah. Vegas was like that. I remember going to Vegas a bunch as a kid, and you only took taxis. Obviously, that's all there was, and we just say like, oh yeah, well, like what's a good burger spot on this side of the strip? And I'm like, oh, go here, and they just drop us off.
I remember being in a cab with Ed Cohn in Las Vegas one year, and the driver's like, yeah, they keep trying to get Uber in here, but it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen in Vegas. And the next year it was there.
There still is like a decent amount of taxis there, which is cool. Like at least they survived. But
if you can hail a taxi with an app, the difference isn't great, you know, especially now since Uber and Lyft keep raising their rates. It's almost the same.
Vegas is like, at least the strip is set up different too. You can't like just grab a taxi on the road. They built a bunch of laws so people aren't getting run over and shit, right? Like they want a little taxi queue and to get it at like certain pickup spots, which I do understand. Yeah, because it gets crazy. I did want to do New Year's one time in Vegas because they shut down the entire strip like New York. Oh, it's full pedestrian.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've heard it's like insane. Like once you're there, you're stuck. Like you're not moving, you know? And same with the ball drop. Like I think that would just be cool to do once. Like you show up at 1 fucking p.m.
Yeah.
Grab a spot and you just don't move all day. Just for the it's probably not even that cool, but you just got to do it to do it.
I've definitely seen where the ball is, but I've never seen it drop.
Yeah, because I just heard it's chaos. I heard you can't like leave your spot. There's no like bathrooms, you know, there's no nothing. I think Vegas is like a smaller version of that, but I think like 500,000 people fly in for Vegas New Year.
Wow.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it's a shit ton.
Wow. So we've established that I was in the northeast, and you were in the southeast.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was in Vegas, spent a little holiday, and then kind of on the coin flip, the 30th, we got a plan to do a full weight loss stream. So I called it Big Back Island, but they preferred it Weight Loss Island. I had 3 contestants streaming 24/7 in the Miami area. Kind of a gamified show, but they couldn't leave the house till they lost 25 pounds.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And so the prize pool was $100K in the beginning, but then there's like temptations everywhere. So you go upstairs in the master closet, the house we rented, and there's just fucking like cinnamon rolls for like $1,000. There's fucking Snickers bars, like just fat kid heaven. And so the contestants, I left, but the contestants were stuck in the house 24/7, 10 days straight. And we just coached them to the job, got her done.
What did they actually lose?
So I think they all lost 25.
Wow.
Yeah, because these guys, bro, what I do respect about like streamers and content creators today's age is like, especially streamers, they're probably more like podcasters than YouTubers, where like there's like a mini script, like they know when guests are coming, or they have like a challenge, they kind of like Survivor style game. So there's like a script in that sense, but like they're not gonna lie. Like, shout out my boy Agent. Like, Agent's like, no, like, yeah, we're not leaving unless that scale. He weighed in the first day at 245. So he's like, until that scale says 220, like, we're stuck here, Mike. And I'm like, all right, man. Like, at least you're honest,
Yeah.
Like, I do respect that a lot. So, yeah, my boy Chibu started at like 330, got him to like 303.
I was gonna say like 305.
Yeah, he dropped a little bit, even more. And then shout out my boy Smiley, who's going on tour in Australia with Drake. Smiley, I think, was 312, and we got him down to like 290, 288. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And obviously, like, the internet doesn't understand half of it. Like, the first 6 days, we're just dieting like crazy and exercising like crazy. Like, it really is fat camp. Like, we could do whatever we want. So they'd wake up, I'd put them through a lift session. I taught them how to cook some like healthy food. Then they'd like, some days we go play basketball, or they do a little boxing, or they just hop in the pool and start playing like football in the pool, just like movement, you know? Yeah, it literally was like fat camp. And then, but you can't lose 25 pounds in 10 days.
No.
So obviously we had to like set up a water cut at the end.
Yeah.
Otherwise we would have been in that house. Like, to do it healthily.
You'd still be there.
Yeah, it'd be 6 months probably, right?
Yeah.
To do 25 like semi-healthy. And half of the chat, we had 15 to 20,000 people watching the whole time. So like half of the chat, I think, kind of got it. And then half of them was like, oh, like, you're going to gain it back. Like, yeah, bitch. Like, like there's, yes. Like, if I could healthily drop 25 pounds in 10 days, I would be the most famous trainer in the history of human. Like, so, we got to cut weight.
So no Ozempic or anything involved here.
No, many Ozempic jokes, but no Ozempic. No steroids, no Ozempic, no. They were because there was also in the like cheat room where they could spend their prize pool to get prizes. There's a DoorDash, so they grabbed the DoorDash, and then they were like scheming on like trying to buy some like real diuretics and like some prescription stuff. So I like called them like, look, man, we'll get like a fiber supplement if you really want, but
yeah,
let's not go off the deep end here. You guys are gonna be like shitting yourself in bed all day.
Dandelion root.
Yeah, the basics, right?
That'll
like,
work.
Yeah, some shit that didn't go crazy.
Not hard. It doesn't work hard like a Lasix or something like that.
Yeah, we did. Like psyllium husk.
Yeah.
Just make them shit a little bit more than they needed to shit.
Yeah.
But
Well, that just coats everything, makes it just slide right out.
And they're big boys, We had some weight to lose, so it wasn't too bad.
So do you think that they're gonna like stick to, obviously not as anything as extreme as that, but like stick to a?
This feels like the BTS of like an MTV show now. I give like the real spiel on each character, So my boy Agent said it again publicly, and he is a bad man. He said, and I put it in his ear, but I think he likes the idea because he's never had abs. And so he's 220, and he's probably an inch or two taller than me, and he's got some muscle on him, you know? And so I was like, bro, we could get you abs by next December probably. And so I think that's his goal. Okay. So I think he'll lock in. And Agent started, if anyone knows, call me Agent 00. He's a 2K creator, and now he's part of AMP, probably the biggest YouTube group on the planet, arguably. And now he just streams whatever, he'll game. But I think when he's 28-ish, in his early 20s, he was like 340.
Ooh.
So he already did like the hard work.
Yeah.
And he's in like a healthy weight now. 220, 230 for a 5'11 guy, 6 foot guy. It's not that crazy.
No.
But I think he wants abs. My boy Smiley used to be 200 pounds not that long ago, he said. And I think he'll probably lock in. Shout out my boy Chibu. I love Chibu, but Chibu's a little younger. Chibu's like 2021. I don't know how locked we'll get or not. He loves playing basketball, so he is active, which is good. Like, I turned on his stream yesterday, and he was out at the courts playing basketball, streaming it. But some of it, as everyone knows, like, everyone listening's probably already in the top 10%, but like education's everything. Yeah. Like just nutrition, basic nutrition education isn't a thing in America, so I try to teach him some of that stuff, and Chibu could probably lose it. I think he liked lifting. He actually has a big boxing match coming up, Feb 1.
Wow.
Yeah. So shout out to my boy Chibu on that. I'm sure he's gonna knock that fool out.
He's athletic.
Crazy athletic.
The first day they were doing like a bulk.
Yeah.
And after
slamming, did you see that?
After slamming a bunch of fast food, he busted out a cartwheel.
Yeah, he just like a very good one.
He's 335.
Yeah, and he's probably like 6'1". He's a big, thick boy. Like both his brothers play college football. Like he's a big boy. Yeah, and he did like a crazy round off thing. And that's where I actually first found him, was a boxing clip from like one of those streamer content creators boxing like years ago. Not years ago, probably a year ago. And so he has another one coming up. So I got some faith. I don't know if Chiba's gonna have abs anytime soon, but he just, all he talks about, he's from Jersey. He won't stop talking about chopped cheese. It's like, bro, I gotta have at least a couple. And so I try to like teach him how to make like a healthy one, because it's not that crazy. Get leaner ground beef. Yeah. Use some kind of bread with fiber. Maybe a low 2% cheese rather than like chucking it with cheese. Yeah. And he enjoyed that. Whether he'll stick to that or go to the corner store, I don't know. That's the one New York experience I've never had. I never had chopped cheese.
Me either.
Yeah. I'm sure it's delicious, but
I did have
the bagels, the Sammys.
Fucking cream cheese?
Nah, I'm more like a egg guy. Oh. Like a bacon, egg, cheese bagel deal.
Oh, yeah. Bacon I did not egg. Have... I was going to order one of those at one of the spots, but I did not do that.
Yeah, their bagels are so good.
We don't eat breakfast out much.
Yeah, I don't eat breakfast at all either. That's why I miss all that stuff. But chopped cheese, I don't know why. And pizza, obviously. You go to New York, you get some... I've had like a nice Italian, a nice steak, all the pizza.
This is the best meal I had while we were gone, period. It was a Yemeni restaurant. Never had Yemeni food before.
In New York?
In New York, yeah. In Brooklyn.
Interesting.
Atlantic Street in Brooklyn. It was that bowl is like sizzling hot when it comes out.
It's like a skillet.
Like a skillet, yeah. Like think like
Chevys,
like a fajita kind of thing. Yeah. It's just like bubbling and boiling and stuff. And it was like it was super cold that day, because it was super cold every day that we were in New
Well, there's
York.
a snowstorm too towards the end, right?
We had snow a couple times.
Yeah, I know Virginia, Atlanta. A lot of the boys I was with are from Toronto and Atlanta, and I know they were getting drenched. I think like the Carolinas, Georgia got drenched, so I assume New York got at least the aftermath.
New York got snow twice while we were there. It didn't really stick much either time.
Yeah. I think Atlanta got...
So the last day that we were there.
Atlanta got like its most snow it's gotten in like 30 years, I think.
Yeah.
It had like a dumper.
Ton of snow. Anyway, this was outstanding. It was really, really, really good.
Was there like bread in the back? Like thin?
Yeah, it's like
a pita deal.
Like a naan?
Yeah, but crunchier a little bit, like especially as a drier, but in a tandoori, like cooked in a tandoori. I had to look up where Yemen was, honestly, on the map. It's like
Middle Easty.
Yes, south of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, no, Yemen.
And like not very far from Ethiopia, like across the water from Ethiopia and stuff. It was just really, really good. These are AI images. They're crazy. We saw some shows. Oh, this was some latkes with salmon roe, creme fraiche.
I mean, New York
bagel.
still is, top fucking 5 in the world with food for sure.
Yeah, we and then we went to Katz's Deli.
Yeah, Katz is good.
One of the last few days. I've been to Sarge's before, and I actually like Sarge's better, because Katz is. Let me show you the picture. It is insanity.
Yeah,
it's
both. There's 2 locations, I think.
I think there's 2 or 3. Yeah,
I've been to both. They are crazy. I've been to the other one too. I don't know the name of the one you're talking about. It's a little more sit down. Is that the one?
Sarge's is more of a sit down.
So I've had that one too, and then there's low key one in downtown L.A. Like same style as Katz. I forgot the name. But Bart took me to it. It was good.
I don't remember it, but I know which one you're talking about.
We need one of those here.
Yeah, well, they tried, but when they do it here, they don't do it exactly right, and
that's the issue. The one in LA tasted like that New York shit, like that. I just love, like hella good. It's easy too, like a hella good bread and then hella good roast beef, and just chuck it on there. Like it's not that complicated.
I wish I had taken a picture of the sandwich that I got. It was like just a giant pastrami sandwich, but here's the thing: it was $28 for a sandwich.
But you are getting like a pound plus of meat. Like
it was a lot.
They don't skimp you, that's for sure. And it is a tourist deal.
Yeah.
But
and honestly, a fucking Chipotle meal is $20.
Holy shit!
Is that Sarge's?
No. This is Katz's.
Which one is that?
It's the one where they filmed Where Harry Met Sally.
Is that more on the south side?
It's East Village-y, kind of. I don't know.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been to 2 of them for sure.
But there's like 8 cutters along this left side
they
here.
go crazy.
And there's like lines in front of all. They like you have a ticket, and you take your ticket, and they mark everything on the ticket, and then when you go to leave, you give them the ticket and then you pay. But it was like
It feels very New York.
it was not at all cheap, and we split the sandwich because the sandwiches are enormous. I can eat a lot, and that was going to be a lot more than I could actually handle.
Yeah, the Sammy's big. I just compare everything to like Chipotle because that's the standard, and everything's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, a Chipotle meal is going to cost you $20.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're going to a tourist spot and spending 30,
I mean, we didn't really care. Plus, we didn't eat out dinners very much either.
Yeah.
We like, we tend to be the people who don't eat breakfast or dinner out when we're traveling, and we try to stay in places that have. I didn't exactly learn this from Stan Efferding, but I kind of did. Like, he always stays in a place that has a kitchenette.
Yeah.
We always stay at a place that has at least a refrigerator and a microwave, and hopefully a Trader Joe's or something.
Yeah, you can get by.
And you just get a bunch of stuff, and like we were, salads for dinner and cereal for breakfast and coffee in the room and whatever. And it, works out. I think I probably lost 5 or 6 pounds over the course of the time. I was not on a weight loss island, however. But
Yeah, lots of walking. Yeah, weight loss island. All the fatties, fat camp.
Lots of walking. So saw some shows. Saw 2 shows that our buddy David Tao is behind. One of them is headlined by John Mulaney, but there's like a rotating cast, and he turned down one of the award shows hosting to do this on Broadway, and he was amazing. He was really, really good. It's kind of a reader's theater kind of thing. Everybody else was basically like reading but acting their stuff out, and he was pretty much off book the whole time. Lorne Michaels, Saturday Night Live producer, was one of the executive producers on the show as well.
There's a big SNL documentary coming out.
Yeah. I think that this week, in the rotating cast, I think that Lin-Manuel Miranda is in it, and then he overlaps with Jimmy Fallon sometime in the next few days. And I heard that those tickets are going for like 4 times face value, and they're not the cheapest tickets in the world either.
Yeah, big names though.
Yeah, for sure. We saw the probably most classic American play, Our Town revival, with Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory. I never watched that show, but I've seen him in something. I think he's in that movie about the women who were calculators for NASA during the moon missions.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it.
I think he was in that. But he was really good. And Katie Holmes was in it. For the Wayback Machine, if you go back to the 70s, one of the most popular TV shows was The Waltons, and the lead kid character on that, who was, I think he was maybe a teenager when it started. Richard Thomas was in that. And then we saw Oh Mary, which is another play that David is behind, that has just been the biggest thing on Broadway since we were there in July. It's just a big, crazy comedy about Lincoln being assassinated and how crazy his wife was. I can't even, it's hard to describe it. It's just like, other than saying it's like naughty vaudeville, it's just so much shit. Just crazy stuff.
I don't think people think of Broadway like that, but it's so evolved.
Yeah, I know.
If you've never been,
that's kind of a point. Yeah,
it's more like a movie, and funny or not funny or whatever. But it's more evolved. It's not like Shakespeare. But growing up, that's what I thought it was. And it probably was more like that in the 80s, 90s. But now, you can catch any cup of tea out there you want. Yeah,
the show that Mulaney's in, All In, very accessible. You don't have to know anything or have any experience with theater or whatever to be able to enjoy it, because it's just super engaging and
people think it's
fun.
like opera-y, or hoity-toity, and some ticket prices are a little hoity-toity, but the experience isn't.
Oh Mary was sold out everywhere. I ended up having to go to the third-party market to find seats for the show, and I bought them through StubHub because I'd had a bad experience with SeatGeek, which a lot of people use for third party tickets, and we couldn't actually get in until like 5 minutes before the show started, 5 minutes before curtain, because their system somehow doesn't release the ticket from the original owner.
Yeah, it's like a flying standby.
Yeah. So we just wait till the last minute. But this is crazy. We waited all this time, but at the same time, on the same night, that same box office accidentally gave away 4 tickets to a group of 4 people. They gave away the tickets to the wrong people. They literally had to go to those seats and kick those people out.
I mean, I bet it's more common than not.
I would imagine maybe it is.
I'm sure there's mix-ups, especially with the resale market.
Yeah,
like people passing names, and how do you identify who's the current owner of that ticket versus who sold it an hour ago?
Right. The other tickets I bought that way, there was like a physical image of the ticket with the QR code on it.
Seems simple.
And the other one just had the QR code and no image of the ticket, and it had somebody's name on it, but that wasn't mine, but nobody was checking because it just went. So I don't know, that was cool. And we were in the audience for Colbert, because we were staying about half a block from the Ed Sullivan Theater where Colbert tapes.
Yeah, all the studios are still out there. Because I know a lot of LA ones are really, like Warner Brothers and them are going crazy in Vegas. So I think a lot of them are going to start to migrate.
Yeah.
But New York will obviously be a mainstay for many. Like Saturday Night Live, I assume, is still in there.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live is at Rockefeller Center still.
That would be cool to see live one time, even though the cast is whatever now.
Yeah, it would. I mean, not that you can know ahead of time exactly who the guest is going to be. But
if you got a good one.
That'd be totally worth it.
Yeah, just seeing some of the like icons would be insane. You get in there fucking 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, or 50 years ago.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Belushi or whatever the fuck. I think Adam Sandler was kicking it in Vegas. Everyone says he's just like does nothing. Like I think he's at the hotel by my house just like walking around with his dog. Like he really is that guy. Yeah. Like I don't think he has a car. I mean, I read like it was like a little YouTube video, so who knows like the truth? But people say like he just because I think he still loves and lives in New York a lot, and so he probably just like maybe has a driver, but I think he just like walks and like is normal.
So he takes his dog to Vegas.
I think he was just walking I think his dog was in the hotel with him, and he just fucking walking him to go to the bathroom and walking around the fucking casino.
That's crazy.
Probably in some basketball shorts and flip flops.
The Colbert experience was interesting. If you've never been to a show that's being recorded live for TV, when I say recorded live, I mean they recorded it and then they actually edited it because he fucked up in the monologue, stopped everything.
Oh, really?
And said, "Let me do that again." And it's not something that normally happens. And then the musical guest was Jean Baptiste, but it was actually recorded in December before Christmas because that's when he was available.
Is he not because he was a house band, wasn't he?
He was. He's not anymore.
Where was that? Not Colbert.
I thought it was Colbert.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know. I just remember he was one. I don't watch a ton of those shows.
I don't really either, honestly. I did watch the one we were on, just because I wanted to see that performance and just what it looked like altogether.
Yeah, when I was younger, for some reason, I guess maybe because I was up later, I'd be watching like Letterman or Leno, obviously the main two, and then like a little bit of who's the fucking redhead guy?
Conan O'Brien.
Conan, yeah, like a hair of Conan when I was like probably like high school age.
Conan would have been fun to see. I saw Craig Ferguson back in the day.
Oh yeah, they're almost all of them are New York, right? Leno was like the only L.A. guy.
Ferguson was L.A. James Corden was L.A.
Is he done? Are they all done?
He's done. Yeah, they're done. Yeah, Corden took over for Ferguson. They're both.
Corden was okay with his car stuff.
That stuff was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily always love the rest of it, and then it turns out he's kind of an asshole. So
yeah, I don't put a.
If Colbert is an asshole, he does a really good job of covering it up.
Well, I think that's everyone in Hollywood. I'm not putting my money on any of those guys being saints.
does a Q&A before the show, and he is very like down to earth and normal and stuff sounding. So
Yeah.
who knows? But
Yeah. When acting's your gig, I don't trust you.
yeah, well, been there, done that a little bit. In terms of having a show not totally be reflective of your experience in real life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's everywhere.
Yeah. So was that. We did the Transit Museum in Brooklyn, which is the for the New York system. Like going back to building tunnels, they talk about how they built the tunnels in New York, and they're like they did it different ways, but they use like cut and cover, where they would just like cut into the street, and then they have to move around all the water and the utilities and all that stuff, and then they put stuff over the top, and they finish underneath, and they finish the top and stuff, and then the tunnels that go underwater. And I did not have any understanding of how this worked before, but they had to pump pressurized air into them, so that if there's like a leak develops or whatever,
you're done.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people died.
I mean, same here, right? Like Bart goes underwater.
Yeah.
It seems complicated.
Transbay tube, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, some kind of vacuum makes sense. Or you go deep enough. The ocean seems difficult, but a bay.
Yeah.
Maybe you go deep enough that you don't have to fucking worry about it. I don't know. I ain't an engineer.
Anyway, we hadn't done it before. We talked about doing it before. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty enjoyable. And then the next day we did this like tour where you go with a tour guide on the subways, and they show you the like remnants of the original stations from the early 1900s. And
yeah, a lot of that stuff's cool. Like even like the station near Madison Square Garden and shit. It just looks cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like talk about modern architecture and shit not looking cool. Versus like, we used to spend time on making shit look nice.
The City Hall station was like the first one that was opened in the early 1900s, and they ended up closing it because there weren't enough riders, which is crazy. It's like super opulent. Like the you guys may have not have ever seen the original Christopher Reeve Superman, but Lex Luthor's lair is in one of them.
Oh, that's funny.
There's a pool that he puts kryptonite around Superman's like neck with a chain and throws him into the water to kill him off. But looks like that, and you can actually see just part of it if you stay on the number 6 line when the train turns around. They like the guy showed us how to see it, and like 4 times a year, I guess they let people go, but it's like a very limited number of tickets, and it's like going to a rock concert or whatever in terms of like getting online and hitting the button over and over again to try to get in. And I think it's not cheap either.
Interesting. And otherwise, it's just doing nothing.
Otherwise, it's just sitting there gathering dust. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why. I mean, I think there's some structural issues and stuff like that they would have to spend money to remediate.
Yeah, but shit, Manhattan, you think you're monetizing every inch of it?
Yeah, you would think.
I would do something.
You would think, and like when they're certainly building a lot of buildings there currently.
I bet
it just kind of never stops. Of note, I was 2 blocks from the CEO hunting grounds. I'd been by there before, but
I mean, Manhattan is literally the most valuable land on the planet.
Yeah,
probably won't change anytime soon.
Yeah, just for people who are in New York or going to New York who might be going to a dispensary, which are very legal there, except there are some illegal ones, but whatever. Just if you're from, California, expect to pay more.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
By a bit.
Yeah, probably.
Like a good third more.
Because it's all from here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so you got
pretty much.
Just those costs, let alone taxes, and let alone who knows what.
It doesn't balance the fact that we have to pay more for gas, but,
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, they don't even buy gas. You just walk everywhere.
Yeah, they did they have congestion pricing now. So if you actually drive through it at certain times of day, they charge you more.
Interesting. I mean, I've been to Manhattan a good amount of times. Yeah, it's not like there's gas stations downtown.
No, I don't actually remember having seen a gas station.
No, I don't think I have in Manhattan. For sure not.
Spent more time in like Brooklyn and Queens than we ever have before.
Yeah,
for sure.
Each little borough's cool. I've been in the Bronx a little bit and little stuff. It does each have like its own culture and flavor for sure. But I mean, even San Francisco, there's fucking no gas stations. There's like 2 on the outside.
Yeah, it's hard to find. I don't like to drive in San Francisco, particularly now. Like,
yeah, it's not fun.
Back when we had a Mini Cooper, I was kind of about it because you could it was easier to park, it was easier to drive. Whatever,
roads are tiny. People suck at driving.
Yeah,
I'd probably rather drive in Manhattan, to be honest. At least like there's like 4-lane roads.
Yeah,
people are crazy, but at least there's more people.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had the kind of the worst city I had to ever try to drive in was Dublin. So with like wrong side of the car, wrong side of the road,
probably cobblestone and shit,
way crazy amount of traffic.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, all Europe I'd imagine isn't amazing in most spots besides like fucking Germany or something. You know,
I don't want to drive in London either.
Yeah, Paris. Like I probably don't want to drive in any of those spots.
I've never been in a car in London, not even one time. And I have in New York, but like. I think the only times I've been in a car are either lifts to or from the airport, and we usually often fly into Newark and out of LaGuardia if we're coming from Canada. And now you can take a train to a bus, and for essentially just $2.80 versus 10 plus times that.
Yeah.
To take an Uber or a Lyft. And then like when you and I were in New York in like 2015, we were in like Uber Blacks XL whatever, and outside of that I've never really been in a car in New York.
I've Ubered to a couple of events, but you can get most spots pretty easy foot in the subway. One of the few cities out here.
To just touch on a health topic, I got pitched a guest, and we haven't really talked about it yet, because there's new studies and new recommendations coming out about alcohol use and how like almost no amount of alcohol is good for you. And I got pitched a doctor to come talk about it. We may have that, or we might just read an article in the future here.
It seems like a no-brainer.
It seems pretty easy. It seems pretty like to talk to somebody about it, it's a question of like, do they have strategies for people who drink routinely to stop drinking routinely?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, that's all that, man. Like, even since I was a kid, you like hear about like dyes being bad for you, and now they just outlawed like Red 3 or whatever.
Yeah, Red
shit,
3.
Like it's kind of like a no-brainer. Which not to put on my tinfoil hat, but like. There's lobbying and politics going on everywhere to push this stuff. And so if Budweiser's putting $1 trillion into whatever politician, then the politician is going to help run a campaign saying 1 beer a day is actually pretty good for you. Like, it's just so simple. But like, when has alcohol in a logical sense ever done anything positive? The best argument people have is like, well, then I get more confident. Like, bitch, that's fucking fake. Like, that's fucking fake confidence then.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the social lubricant value of it, if you're someone who's got like a little bit of a social anxiety kind of thing, whatever, it can be helpful in really, really moderate conditions. Like 1 beer ought to be enough.
My point isn't that, that doesn't have some value, but like it's not like real.
No, it's definitely not real.
Like you faking it. Would like placeboing yourself would be the same effect.
It's like steroids for your personality.
Yeah, literally. Like if you just say like, all right, I'm gonna act real confident tonight and just go fucking fake it, you're gonna have the same result.
Yeah.
Versus like, I don't think having a beer a day is gonna kill you either, but I don't think having a beer a day is gonna help you in anything either.
Yeah, they're saying like a beer a week.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 for men.
I mean, more and more people I'm meeting and talking to, maybe part of it's the era and maybe part of it's my age, but like more people I run into just don't drink at all. Like people ask me if I drink, I just say like no, because I really don't. Again, I'm not like claiming sober like against it, but like in the last 3 years I've probably had 1 drink a year max.
That's less than me, but not. I mean, I might have 3 or 4 in like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Just kind of depends.
I think it's just more common, and it's just like everything else in our fucking world. It's just getting more and more divisive. The people that do drink are drinking fucking Thursday through Monday because there's some kind of party or event, and then the people that aren't drinking at all, right? It's the same with like who's gambling. Either people are gambling 24/7 or people don't gamble at all. It's the same with people that work out. The people that work out are actually more serious about it now. There's no like casuals, and then there's people that are just fucking eating Doritos on the couch. Like everything's just splitting down the middle. It's just what side you're going to take.
Yeah, I've never really understood the binge thing. Like, not to say that I haven't done it, but I just never understood it because it's days of recovery when you're a healthy young person, let alone as you get older.
You mean food or alcohol?
No, alcohol.
Yeah, I think when you're younger,
Binge drinking.
they just easily fucking justify it because they're fun. That's just all their friends do. I don't think it's a logical decision. Like, hey, I'm going to go fucking take 12 shots. They just know, like, yeah, this is how I get laid. This is how I talk to that person. This is what my friends do when they're at the Kings game. So I'm going to buy a fucking 48-ounce beer also. Yeah, I don't think it's thought out. And eventually, yeah, it's either going to catch up to you and you get hungover and stop, or you're just an alcoholic and just going to deal with the pain and take a liquid IV thinking it's helping.
Yeah, I've often said that, like, don't whatever vice you want to get involved with, don't do it so much that you're forced to stop it. Like, you can decide to stop and not have any repercussions around the decision, like not be hard, not be like a withdrawal situation, or like you've screwed up your life and the only way to fix it is to get clean and sober. I mean, it just indulging so much, it just is not a good path.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a real vice, I don't think you're driving the ship anymore.
No, probably not.
It's not a conscious thing. People don't know. And you're not going to someone binge drinking every working weekend saying, hey, you got an issue. They just won't register it. Won't register in their brain.
Yeah, and people who can put away, 12 packs of beer or fifth of whiskey or whatever. I just don't. I mean, my liver was never a fan of that.
Yeah, it's common. It's not uncommon. That's for damn sure.
I don't even understand. Well, that's all about all I got so far. We'll be back on something of a normal schedule, although we're going to do some batch recording because Mike's got some travel coming up.
We got things to do, fam. Sacramento, California, 3rd Street Barbell. Stop on in. We'll see you there. 3sb.co for all your apparel needs. And I'm Solid Mike. Where you want to find me?
I am Sebastian _Brambila on IG.
I am at the Jim McDonald. All the social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is the word and 50 is just numbers. 50% facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time.